Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Cary Grant was one of the most iconic and beloved leading men in the history of Hollywood. Known for his charm, wit, and sophisticated screen presence, Grant's career spanned over 3 decades, during which he became a symbol of elegance and timeless style in American cinema. Early life. Cary Grant was born Archibald Alec Leach on January 18, 1904, in Bristol, England. His childhood was marked by hardship. His mother was institutionalized when he was just 9 years old, and he grew up believing she had died. Grant would later discover she was still alive, a revelation that deeply affected him. He left school at 14 and joined a troupe of acrobatic performers, eventually touring the United States. Drawn to the world of entertainment, he stayed in the U.S. and transitioned from vaudeville to acting, adopting the name Cary Grant when he signed with Paramount Pictures in the early 1930s. Hollywood stardom. Grant quickly became a favorite with audiences due to his good looks, effortless style, and comic timing. His breakout roles came in the 1930s, and he starred in a series of screwball comedies that showcased his flair for humor, including Bringing Up Baby, 1938, with Katharine Hepburn. Holiday, 1938, His Girl Friday, 1940. He was equally effective in romantic dramas and thrillers. Some of his most iconic films include The Philadelphia Story, 1940, Notorious, 1946, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. To Catch a Thief, 1955, North by Northwest, 1959, another Hitchcock masterpiece, where Grant plays a suave ad executive caught in a web of espionage style and persona. Cary Grant became the epitome of Hollywood sophistication. His blend of British elegance and American charisma made him a model of masculinity. Behind the scenes, he was known to be introspective, even shy, and he was intensely private about his personal life. Though often cast as the confident, unflappable hero, Grant brought nuance and vulnerability to his roles. Directors like Alfred Hitchcock, Howard Hawks, and George Cukor admired his ability to balance comedy with depth. Personal life. Grant married 5 times and had 1 daughter, Jennifer Grant, with his 4th wife Diane Cannon. His relationships often drew media attention, and speculation about his private life persisted throughout his career. Despite his fame, Grant remained an enigmatic figure off-screen. In later years, he distanced himself from acting, officially retiring in 1966 after his final film, Walk, Don't Run. He focused on business interests and served on the board of several companies, including cosmetics giant Fabergé. Legacy. Cary Grant never won a competitive Academy Award but received an honorary Oscar in 1970 for his lifetime of achievement in film. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest actors in American cinema, influencing generations of performers who admired his grace, timing, and sophistication. He died on November 29, 1986, at the age of 82, leaving behind a legacy of enduring charm and cinematic excellence. Film projector career evolution. From light comedy to complex drama. Cary Grant's early roles leaned heavily into light romantic comedies and screwball farces. Films like The Awful Truth, 1937, and My Favorite Wife, 1940, cemented him as a master of witty repartee and slapstick timing. However, he grew artistically as he aged, taking on more layered characters. In Notorious, 1946, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, Grant delivered a much darker, emotionally complex performance, playing a morally ambiguous spy in love with Ingrid Bergman's character. The film revealed a psychological depth not often associated with Grant's earlier work. His partnership with Hitchcock became one of the most fruitful director-actor collaborations in cinema. Together, they created Suspicion, 1941. A suspenseful tale that played with Grant's charming image, making the audience question his motives. To Catch a Thief, 1955, set in the French Riviera. Showcasing Grant's elegance and charisma opposite Grace Kelly. North by Northwest, 1959, one of the greatest thrillers of all time, featuring Grant in peak form as the wrongly accused man on the run. Grant's ability to shift between comedy, romance, and suspense was rare, and his performances never felt forced. He brought a uniquely modern sensibility to classic Hollywood. Brain personal struggles and psychedelic therapy. Despite his suave image, Cary Grant struggled with identity and emotional well-being throughout his life. He openly admitted to feelings of inadequacy, stemming from his traumatic childhood and complex relationships. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Grant underwent a series of LSD therapy sessions under medical supervision, long before psychedelics became part of mainstream mental health discussions. He credited LSD with helping him confront deep-seated trauma and understand himself better. He spoke candidly about these experiences later in life, breaking taboos and offering insights into emotional healing. Briefcase life. After acting, Cary Grant retired from acting in 1966, at the age of 62. His final film, Walk, Don't Run, was a light romantic comedy set during the Tokyo Olympics. Unlike many stars of his generation, he left at the top of his game. Afterward, he focused on business, becoming a director at Fabergé, where he helped the company rebrand itself into a lifestyle icon. He remained active in the business world and became a sought-after speaker, admired for his intellect and elegance. Family Man, Girl, Fatherhood. In later years. In 1966, Grant became a father for the first time at the age of 62. His daughter, Jennifer Grant, was the center of his life in retirement. He deliberately stepped away from Hollywood to raise her, accompanying her to school and leading a low-key lifestyle. Jennifer would later describe him as a loving, devoted father who made up for lost time by giving her his full attention. Trophy honors and cultural legacy. Though famously overlooked by the Oscars during his career, Cary Grant was universally acknowledged by his peers. In addition to his honorary Academy Award in 1970, he received accolades such as Kennedy Center Honors, 1981, AFI Life Achievement Award, ranking number 2 on the American Film Institute's list of the greatest male stars of classic Hollywood cinema, just behind Humphrey Bogart. Face Mask. Timeless influence. Cary Grant's style and persona have influenced countless actors, from George Clooney to Hugh Grant. His tailored suits, dry humor, and emotional restraint continue to be studied and emulated. Critics often say Cary Grant wasn't born, he was invented. Grant himself once said, "Everyone wants to be Cary Grant. Even I want to be Cary Grant." It was a tongue-in-cheek acknowledgement that the man behind the image, Archibald Leach, was very different from the glamorous illusion he crafted. Red-heart romantic relationships and marriages. Cary Grant's love life was as complex and high-profile as his film career. Over the course of his life, he was married 5 times. Though none of these marriages lasted more than a few years, with one exception, his final marriage in his later years brought him a measure of peace. Virginia Cherrill, 1934–1935. A Hollywood actress best known for City Lights, Cherrill was Grant's first wife. The marriage was brief and troubled, ending in a public divorce. Barbara Hutton, 1942–1945. One of the wealthiest women in the world, the Woolworth heiress, their marriage attracted enormous media attention. The press dubbed them Cash and Cary. Despite the media circus, They remained on friendly terms after their divorce. Betsy Drake, 1949 to 1962, an actress and screenwriter, Drake influenced Grant's interest in psychotherapy and health. Their union was intellectual and lasted longer than his other marriages, though they eventually grew apart. Diane Cannon, 1965 to 1968, a much younger actress. Cannon was the mother of Grant's only child, Jennifer Grant. Their short marriage ended in divorce, but he remained close to Jennifer for the rest of his life. Barbara Harris, 1981 to 1986. A hotel public relations executive, Harris was with Grant until his death. She was 47 years his junior, but their relationship was reportedly his most harmonious and grounded. Coat image management and the illusion of Cary Grant. Grant was acutely aware of the difference between Archie Leach, the man he was born as, and Cary Grant, the idealized figure he projected to the world. He once famously said, "I pretended to be somebody I wanted to be until finally I became that person. Or he became me." This self-awareness shaped not just his career choices, but his behavior off camera. He was always impeccably dressed, reserved, and gracious in public. He rarely gave interviews, preferring to maintain an air of mystery, a sharp contrast to today's celebrity culture. Globe cultural icon and fashion influence Cary Grant is still considered one of the most stylish men in cinematic history. He popularized a clean, timeless style, dark suits, crisp shirts, and a modest but powerful aesthetic. Fashion designers such as Tom Ford and Ralph Lauren have cited him as a key inspiration, and he remains a benchmark for men's fashion in the 20th century. His style has become synonymous with terms like debonair, refined, and cool under pressure. Even in thrillers like North by Northwest, his character wears the same gray suit throughout the entire film, and it never wrinkles, no matter how wild the action gets. Film Frame's best known and most celebrated films. Here are some of Grant's most enduring and influential works. Bringing Up Baby, 1938, a zany screwball comedy with Katharine Hepburn. The Philadelphia Story, 1940, a sophisticated romantic comedy with Hepburn and James Stewart. Arsenic and Old Lace, 1944, a dark comedy that showed his ability to balance farce and fear. Notorious, 1946, a tense post-war thriller about loyalty and love. To Catch a Thief, 1955, a stylish romantic caper in the French Riviera. An Affair to Remember, 1957, one of the most beloved romantic dramas in Hollywood history. North by Northwest, 1959, a masterful thriller blending suspense, action, and wit. Coffin Death and Final Years. In November 1986, while on tour in Davenport, Iowa, for a one-man speaking engagement series titled A Conversation with Cary Grant, he suffered a massive stroke and passed away later that evening at the age of 82. He died surrounded by the respect of the film industry and the affection of fans worldwide. His ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean. Glowing star Cary Grant's legacy. AFI ranked him number 2 on their list of the greatest male stars of classic Hollywood cinema. He remains a cultural shorthand for elegance and charm, the gold standard for the leading man persona. His unique fusion of comedy, romance, danger, and humanity has made his films timeless and continuously rediscovered by new generations. Clapperboard. A master of multiple genres, Cary Grant's versatility across genres was extraordinary. While many actors of his era were typecast, Grant moved effortlessly between screwball comedies, His Girl Friday, Bringing Up Baby, sophisticated romantic comedies, The Philadelphia Story, charade, thrillers and spy dramas, North by Northwest, notorious dramas with emotional gravity, Penny Serenade, None But the Lonely Heart. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he wasn't afraid to look silly or vulnerable on screen, which only deepened his appeal. He often played characters who were mistaken for someone else, placed in absurd situations, or forced to prove their innocence, all while maintaining wit and style. Cary Grant and Alfred Hitchcock, a legendary collaboration. Few director-actor pairings in film history have matched the chemistry and quality of Hitchcock and Grant. Hitchcock once called Grant the only actor I ever loved in my whole life. Their collaborations revealed layers of darkness and charm that few other actors could pull off simultaneously. In Notorious, 1946, Grant plays a morally conflicted agent who manipulates the woman he loves for a mission, displaying coldness and inner torment beneath his usual elegance. North by Northwest, 1959, is often seen as Hitchcock's most fun thriller, and much of that comes from Grant's performance, suave, funny, exasperated, and always under control even when running from a crop duster or hanging from Mount Rushmore. Grant brought a sense of self-awareness to Hitchcock's themes of mistaken identity, sexual tension, and paranoia, becoming the ultimate Hitchcockian hero, debonair, ironic, and morally ambiguous person. Standing Cary Grant in the evolution of masculinity. Cary Grant helped redefine male sexuality and masculinity in film. Before him, leading men were either rough-edged, like Clark Gable, or stiffly noble, like Gary Cooper. Grant offered something different. He was elegant but never distant. He was confident but never aggressive. He was funny but never clownish. In many ways, he created a new archetype, the urbane, emotionally intelligent man who could express vulnerability without losing strength. His characters often lost control, stumbled through romantic entanglements, or played second fiddle to clever women, and this made them human. Grant allowed men to aspire to charm and sophistication, not just dominance. His influence can be seen in later stars like George Clooney, Pierce Brosnan, Hugh Grant, and Ryan Gosling. Speech balloon. Cary Grant. In his own words, some quotes from Grant that reveal his philosophy. I improve on misquotation. Everyone wants to be Cary Grant. Even I want to be Cary Grant. My father used to say, let them see you and not the suit. That's why I'm always so careful to wear the right clothes. He often played with his own public image, treating Cary Grant as a persona he had consciously created and shaped over time, blurring the line between performance and identity. TV. Cary Grant. In the modern age. Though he retired before the modern blockbuster era, Grant's legacy continues. His films are staples of film schools and retrospectives, often cited for perfect timing, pacing, and chemistry. Style blogs and men's fashion guides still hold him up as a model of timeless dressing. In 2004, the USPS issued a stamp in his honor, part of their Legends of Hollywood series. His daughter Jennifer Grant's 2011 memoir, Good Stuff, gave fans an intimate look at the gentle, playful, and loving father behind the icon. Books. Cary Grant. A symbol of duality. Ultimately, Cary Grant's story is about duality, the tension between Archibald Leach and the public image of Cary Grant. Behind the perfect suits and witty dialogue was a man searching for peace, love, and a sense of self. He wrestled with childhood abandonment, the pressure of fame, and multiple failed marriages. And yet, he rose to become an immortal symbol of grace, not because he was perfect, but because he made imperfection look beautiful. United Kingdom. From Bristol to Hollywood. His British-American identity. Although he became the quintessential American movie star, Cary Grant never forgot his English roots. Born and raised in Bristol, England, he retained a soft, transatlantic accent that helped distinguish his voice from other actors. It wasn't fully British, nor fully American, it was uniquely Cary Grant. He became an American citizen in 1942, during World War II, yet kept a kind of old-world elegance and civility that contrasted with rougher Hollywood types. This blend of British polish and American confidence made him an international figure, beloved on both sides of the Atlantic. Clinking glasses social life in Hollywood circles. Grant was widely admired and socially active within Hollywood's elite, but he was also known for being guarded and private. He cultivated friendships with figures like Howard Hughes, with whom he shared a fascination with aviation and privacy, Clark Gable and James Stewart, his contemporaries in the gentleman leading man category. Alfred Hitchcock, not just a director but someone who deeply respected his mind and talents. He was never known to be part of the hard partying crowd. Even when he mingled with stars, his demeanor was polished, restrained, and gracious. Heart with ribbon, philanthropy and public service, though not flashy about it. Cary Grant quietly supported many charities and causes, especially after his retirement. He donated generously to medical research, children's hospitals, and the arts. His service on the board of Fabergé gave him a platform to support emerging designers and cultural institutions. He also took part in war bond drives during World War II. Using his star power for national morale, though always reluctantly, preferring not to politicize his fame. Newspaper media image and tabloid speculation throughout his life. Grant was the subject of tabloid fascination, particularly regarding his romantic life and long friendship with actor Randolph Scott. The two shared a home in the 1930s, and speculation about the nature of their relationship persisted for decades, especially in more modern interpretations of Hollywood history. Grant never directly addressed the rumors, instead choosing to keep his private life absolutely private. His refusal to engage with gossip media only heightened his mystique. Today, many film scholars see this part of his story not as scandalous, but as emblematic of the way classic Hollywood crafted public images that often masked real lives. Grant lived within that contradiction, a public fantasy, anchored by personal truth he shared with few. Classical building posthumous honors and influence. Since his death in 1986, Cary Grant's legacy has only grown. He has been honored in countless ways, a statue in Millennium Square, Bristol, his hometown, stands in tribute to him. Hollywood Walk of Fame star inducted into the National Film Registry for several of his films. Continual references in pop culture, from Mad Men to James Bond films to modern rom-coms. Modern directors and actors continue to cite him as a gold standard. Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and Christopher Nolan have praised his command of the screen. Actors like Tom Hanks, Colin Firth, George Clooney, and Brad Pitt have all paid homage, directly or stylistically. Glowing star. Why Cary Grant still matters. More than 3 decades after his death, Cary Grant is not just remembered, he is studied. His career represents the evolution of the male screen persona, the fusion of style and substance, the complex.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.